So we're going to write the standard equation of a circle. So in order to do a question like this, we assume that you already know what the equation of a circle is and that you're just practicing filling it in here. So as just as a reminder, the standard equation of a circle is here, as I've got shown on the screen here in Desmos. So x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to the radius squared. So you have to start here. So you might want to write that down, or understand that we're starting from that point. So if I start plugging that in here, I'm going to plug this in with no numbers. And just so you know, if you need to use the, they don't like if I use the caret, so they're mad about this here. So I'm just going to ignore that for now. Remember that you can use the Shift 6 key to use the caret and put that up in the exponent. And then, so I'm just going to fill that in here. Now I'm going to go fill in my numbers. So first I have to know the center. So h and k represent where the center of the circle is. So my center is at -2, -2. So I have to put in a -2 for the h, and I have to put in a -2 for the k. My radius starts here at -2 and goes here to it looks like 1.25. So this one's a little tricky, right? It's not nice whole numbers. So I start here at -2 and I go here to what looks like -1.25. So that distance from 1 1/4 to 2 is 0.75. So that distance is 0.75. So here in the radius squared, I have to put 0.75. Now this is not what you're going to submit. You have to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to take my two negatives, make those a positive. I'll take my two negatives here, I'll make that a positive. And then 0.75 squared, I'll just come over here to my calculator, and 0.75 squared comes out to 0.5625. So you might be able to leave this as 0.75 squared. I'll even try to hit submit and see if we get that. So yeah, it looks fine. You could have also submitted 0.5625 on the right side of the equation and you would have been fine. So the next question here, a circle has a radius of the square root of 37 units and is centered at 1.3, -3.5. So we're going to start in the same place that we did with our last one. Again, I recommend just write this out so that way you can just fill it in. Again, if you're trying to get the exponent and you can't figure it out, you can always just click down here. I'm just using the shortcut on the keyboard. So anyways, I'm going to put in 1.3 for my shift in the x direction, and then I'm going to put in -3.5 for my shift in the y direction. And remember, if you have a double negative, you want to change that to a positive. Now my radius, I'm going to have to change to the square root of 37. Let's get rid of this r. So it's the square root of 37 squared. Now just in case you don't believe me that those are going to cancel out, I'll come over here to the calculator. Square root of 37 squared is just 37. So you're never in math going to leave something like this. This would just be silly. It's like leaving 2 plus 2 and not writing 4. You have to change this. So this whole part right here just becomes 37. All right. So here's another one. We'll write the equation of the circle that's graphed below. So I have to get my center first. It looks like my center is at 5, 0. And like I did with my other ones, I'm going to write out my whole equation before I fill in anything. And now I'm going to go start filling stuff in. So my center is at 5, 0. So I'm going to put in 5. I'm going to put 0 over here. And then my radius is the distance from 5 to the outside of my circle, which looks to be out here. Actually, this circle goes just a little bit further than 9. And it looks like that point right here is trying to give you the hint of, hey, our radius isn't 4, it looks like it's a little more than 4. So I'm going to draw in a triangle so that I can figure out what my radius is here. So this is super important. This is probably as hard as it's going to get, but these are the ones that are a little tricky. So my distance from the center to the right side of my triangle is 4. I can count that because it's all the way over here to where 9 is. This height over here is 1. So in order for me to find the radius, which is the hypotenuse of this triangle, I'm going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem. So we'll set that up, right? A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So I've got 4 squared, I'll do this color-coded here, plus the 1 squared is equal to my radius squared, which I don't know what that is, but I'm going to find it. So 4 squared is 16. I'll just switch to one color here. So 16 plus 1 is equal to the radius squared. So that's 17. So it looks like my radius squared is going to be equal to 17. Now, here's a little shortcut for you. You don't even have to take the square root. Look at your equation. Your equation wants to know what the radius squared is. Well, if the radius squared is 17, I don't need to take the square root and then square it again. I can just leave it as 17. So in the equation of a circle, you can have this right here. Now, I'm going to fix this just a little bit because y minus 0, you don't need to put minus 0. Anything minus 0 is itself. So let's just get rid of that. I don't even need the parentheses around my y anymore. So this would be the simplest way to leave this answer. So hopefully that helps you a little bit, and good luck.